Hello, my name is Jeffrey Ben-Nathan, and in 2008, after many years of work, I published a book called I'm Adult, Aren't I? And the question is, what is the book about? The book deals with the question of transition from childhood to adulthood, one of the biggest problems in our society, where we have thousands of young children who go wrong along the way. The worst level, they're in jail. In other ways, they're in court. Almost a third of our young people in Britain have problems in making this transition. So the book is called I'm Adult, Aren't I? And I met just one of these young people, and I saw him smoking. I said, I see you're into smoking. And he said to me, well, I'm adult, aren't I? This is a South London Cockney accent. And eventually I picked it up. I'm adult, aren't I? That's what he said. And the young man was anything but adult. Anything but. So this led to me a blinding revelation that the studies that I'd done at university in anthropology might have some real application in the society in which we live. And I felt the solution to the problem, of which this young man was just but one small manifestation, but very big for him. His whole life was involved in this. The solution would become from the field of anthropology, where the question of status transition has been most thoroughly investigated. What is anthropology? Anthropology, very simply, easy to say, very difficult to do, is the study of the human being. It's the ability to see man of New York in terms of the man of New Guinea, and the man of New Guinea in terms of the man of New York. And believe me, with enough study, they're the same human individuals. They really are. So from an anthropological point of view, what is this young man that I met, I'm adult, aren't I? What's his problem? Well, in other societies, his problem is solved with what's called a rite of passage. What is a rite of passage? A rite of passage is another way of saying movement from one stage of life with its status to another stage of life with its new status. This can involve pregnancy and childbirth, initiation, betrothal and marriage, retirement, funerals, and so on. These are all stages of life. Yes, even funerals is a stage of life. But in this case, we're talking about the transition from childhood to adulthood. So the book asks a lot of questions. It wants to know about ritual. It wants to know about how other societies do it, and in fact whether it's even possible to do it in our own society. And it quickly reaches the conclusion that in our own society, ritual is alive and well, and especially among the great, the good and the just, with things like Freemasonry, the ritual of our parliament, and so on. But in other societies, they do it in different ways, and the book explores in detail how it's done among the highly ritualized societies of the Maasai of East Africa, and also the highly ritualized societies of the Japanese. Japanese, very important. They're were the second largest economy in the world, and they have a fraction of our crime figures. And that's because they live in a highly regulated society where everybody knows their status and so on. Now, we're not Japanese. Whatever we do, we have to do in our own way. But the book explores this. So what form might a rite of passage in our society take? Well, my book, at chapter 8, having gone through a lot of material, gives a suggestion. It talks about life skills, first aid, cooking, orienteering. It talks about life experiences. It actually says that it would be a very good thing for young people to have an encounter with dying and death, for them to understand at an early stage of life that life isn't one great bubble of fun. I think they realize this actually. It's very serious. Other things, working with animals, all sorts of things, life experiences. But above all, volunteering. And volunteering helping others. And in fact, our Prime Minister, David Cameron, has said something really good about volunteering. he said that there's no better way to discover yourself than by losing yourself in helping others. And I think this is very true. And in fact, the British government, I'd like to think, with some sort of inspiration from this book, is introducing national citizen service. This year, in 2012, they have pioneered their scheme to 30,000 young people. And in 2013, it's going to open up to 60,000. And hopefully the whole of the British nation of young people, of youth at the age of 16, will be involved in national citizen service. The main architect of the scheme is a gentleman called Paul Oginski. And you'll see that he has very kindly contributed words to my book. He said, "I'm Adult, Aren't I?" is a major contribution to thinking in the area of youth development. Through worldwide research and razor-sharp insights, Geoffrey Ben-Nathan's book represents a cogent case for a formal rite of passage in the UK. Professor Joy Hendry, Emerita Professor of Social Anthropology at Oxford Brookes University, has called the book I'm Adult, Aren't I? A stunning idea for our times, a riveting read, and a topic to which we can probably all apply our own experience. Let me sum up by saying this, which is the last paragraph of the preface to the book. I know in my bones that formal transition, rite of passage, is the right, indeed as I've said, the only way to proceed. It alone offers the necessary transformation. And so, for many youngsters, this will be a transformation from despair to hope, from overgrown child to confident young adult, from incarcerated young offender to valued young citizen, from liability to asset, and trite as it may sound, from zero to hero. Please look at the book's website, which is www.imadultaren'ti. This is without any of the apostrophes for in between I'm and aren't, imadultaren'ti.com, and there you can find details of how the book can be obtained and purchased. Thank you.